Hello everybody, and welcome to Pre-Postnatal using Breathography, teaching you Breathography using the HYPOXiX methodology. I'm so incredibly excited that you're here. This is also a beginner class, and so for those of you who are total novices to the method, I'm also so excited that you're here because we will take a moment to break down the zip-up activation, the breathography, all of the components that make up the breathography technique. Now, we will move at a moderate speed as we review. If you need more specifics and more time to sit in the learning of those components of the zip-up activation and the engaged inhale, engaged exhale, please visit HYPOXiX.studio and look at the foundational videos, a 14-day free trial. Just go and sign up and look at really how to make a deep connection with your pelvic floor and all of those things that help to stabilize in your sacrum. And for the prenatal, learning to engage your core safely while you're growing a baby, while those abs are stretching. And for the postnatal, those first 8 to 12 weeks after giving birth, you are restoring your abdominals, you're learning how to use your breathing, and you can really use this breathography technique and the ab ribbon to reconnect with your core after giving birth. And so for today, let's begin in a kneeling position if that's comfortable for you. If it's not comfortable for you, then please sit in a chair. Absolutely, you can do that. If you do, for equipment today, an ab ribbon, if you don't have an ab ribbon, then you can absolutely tie something else around your waist that's fairly rigid so that you do have feedback and proprioception as to whether the belt is tight or it's loose at that maximum exhale. So we're going to use both. Sometimes you're using the air in your lungs to stabilize your spine, and then sometimes you're really fusing the abs together, and that's going to be really important for the postnatal population as you loosen the ribbon around your waist. So constant feedback with what your core is doing, no matter what exercise you're doing, whether it is a straight up core exercise or it is a functional movement. And I really lean into those functional movements with pre and postnatal women instead of isolating the abdominals like in a Pilates class or like being in a supine position on the ground. And we do some of that, but when prenatally and also postnatally, right after pregnancy, there's been a lot of stress on that fascia. So we want to learn how to engage our deep abdominals when performing activities of daily living. What are those? Picking up your baby, putting down your baby, pushing, pulling, rotating, all, but not actually rotating, but learning to stabilize the core like a robot as you rotate through space, right? So if you're grabbing something over here, loosen the ab ribbon or tighten based on where you are in the breath cycle and turn over here to grab your baby so that you reduce the risk of injury. Listen, you have high levels of relaxin when you're pregnant and also immediately after giving birth. What does that mean? That means your ligaments are a little bit looser, and that's good. That's going to help you have your baby. And they're also going to be those levels are going to be high up to a year after giving birth, with especially if you decide to breastfeed. And so because of that, we just want to be careful, and we want to have an extra stabilization strategy. So it's so important to do this core work. I will have a first aid program up on the HYPOXiX.studio website within the next couple of months, which will strategically guide you through those first weeks after giving birth with a breathing program, not intense at all. You're not even cleared to exercise yet at this point. So it's literally just a breathing protocol where you're lying in bed, you're lying on your side, you're performing very easy leg lifts one at a time while performing this breathing, okay? I'm gonna start the metronome. We always do the workout at 60 beats per minute to keep us at a maximum rate of 6 breaths per minute during the workout, really conducive to improving, upregulating your parasympathetic nervous system, which you need when you're when you're growing a baby or when you just had a baby. There's a lot, there's a lot of activity happening. So just to have this breath during the workout is so conducive to lowering your stress levels, right? And lowering your stress reaction to the stressful moments in life. And that is that increase in your carbon dioxide threshold. And that is going to happen between 4 and 8 weeks after you begin this breathing protocol. It happens with every single one of the clients who go through these 8-week boot camps. So excited you're here. For the other equipment you need for today, a pair of light weights if you have them. And if you have none of this equipment, do not worry. You're here and we're going to go through this breathing and really practice the core breathing on top, in front of anything. But if you have these pieces of equipment, we're going to add these in because this is actually week 2 of our pre-postnatal series, meaning we're going to add some intensity, not super high intensity, but we're going to really use this breathing to add some intensity to the program. If you do have a TheraBand or like a monster band that you can tether to like the base of a couch or a chair, or even tether in a door, that would be fantastic as a way to really isolate your abdominals in certain exercises. A TheraBand, if you have a pair of mini glute loops, these little rubber loops here that you use to activate your glutes, that would be great, so we can get some rowing, but you don't need them. You can use a TheraBand in place of these. And a Pilates mini ball would be wonderful, so that we can also get the inner thighs, and of course have a chair nearby, because we might use the chair for some of the breathing protocols. So let's start in a kneeling position. Again, you can be in a seated position for this one. Let's start with our zip-up activation. You can gently pull the knees together to activate in your inner thighs and make that connection to the low abdominals. So see here, I'm pretty relaxed. Nothing wrong with being relaxed. We need to be able to relax just like we need to engage. But when you engage, you want to feel a big difference between that relaxed and that engaged. Okay, so we're going to begin with our zip-up activation. Hips, pelvic floor, navel, ribs, shoulders, and head. Those are the 5 points. Pelvic floor moves together and lifts. And if you want more detail on that, please visit the website for the foundational video. I go 30-minute video just on the pelvic floor. Navel pulls in on count 2, but it's loosening the ribbon. It's not just sucking the navel in. So it's a combination. It's really the entire transversus abdominis muscle pulling, sucking in like a corset. Count 3 is the ribs are closing and moving back as much as you can. If you're growing a baby, you can only do so much of that. So I just want you to imagine that you're separating your shoulder blades and you're pushing the ribs backwards. Count 4 is gently lifting the shoulders up and back, and count 5 is head back, but it's really head pushing gently up at a 45-degree angle. So it's a nice postural reminder to set us up as we head into those functional movements. Okay, so let's take our 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on a hiss exhalation. Let's take it slow at first. Here we go. Hiss. Pelvic floor, navel, ribs, shoulders, and head. Everything releases again. Hiss, pelvic floor, navel, ribs, shoulders, and head. Everything releases again. Pelvic floor, that happens all on the hiss exhalation. Now from here, I'm very engaged. I'm very lifted up. I'm going to take a double engaged inhale, 2 sips of air through my nostrils, keeping those muscles activated. My pelvic floor staying activated. My transversus abdominis is staying activated. And you can make letter C's around your ribs. 2 inhales into the ribs. 1, 2, and then an 8-second exhalation. 2 beats on a blow, 2 beats on a hiss, 2 beats on a soft shish, and 2 beats on a loud shish. And you're really pushing that air out of the lungs. Pre-postnatal program, it's a little bit different than my normal high-intensity HYPOXiX program, where you're inhaling and then you're exhaling out. Your exhale does increase in intensity from the blow, hiss, soft shish, loud shish. But when you get to the loud shish, maybe don't go as intensely, maybe go 50% intensity in comparison to that 100% intensity that you will go to when your abdominals are fully recovered and you're getting back into that, your total body program and your high intensity training. So for now, it looks like this. Let's take it from the zip up activation, and that zip up activation is going to be a little bit faster. It's going to happen 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's our rhythm. So pelvic floor, navel, ribs, shoulders, head. Release. I know it's a little fast today for those of you who are new, but please keep practicing this, okay? This is going to be on my Facebook page for a little while. So key to get this. Once you get this foundation, I'm telling you, it's going to become involuntary, second nature, and you are going to perform this zip-up setup and this breathing in conjunction with every single exercise that you do. And I'm telling you, I promise you, it is such a great, really effective preventative strategy, for injury, to prevent injury, especially when relaxin levels are high in your body. Okay, so let's take it from our zip-up activation, double engaged inhale, 8-second exhale. We're going to keep on going back and forth quite a few times in a row. I'm going to put my hands behind my head. Use your hands as a resistance point. Activation, inhale. Hiss, 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale 1, inhale 2, and 8-second exhale. 2 beats on a blow, 2 beats on a hiss, 2 beats on a soft shish, and loud shish. Double engaged inhale, 1, 2, blow. Inhale 1, 2, blow. Press your head back at that 45-degree angle, loud shish. Inhale 1, 2, blow. Inhale 1, 2, blow. Keep those ribs dropping. Hiss. You're beginning to loosen that ab ribbon on the soft shish. Loud shish. You're really loosening the ab ribbon. Inhale. Inhale. Blow. Now, let's move back to our tether point. If you do have a band at the tether point, wonderful. If you don't, again, don't even worry. Just grab your TheraBand and put a TheraBand behind your ribs and press both hands forward in space. I like having the tether point with light resistance. We don't want heavy resistance. Less is certainly more. Right now, to begin, not that we can't lift heavy weight when we're pregnant. We absolutely can, and we should, in conjunction with a breathing strategy that keeps that deep core engaged and prevents too much stress on that linea alba, that center abdominal fascia. So from here, the exercise looks like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, it's a Pilates offering. Now the challenge here is keep the obliques engaged, keep the ab ribbon loosening as you perform this activity so there's no movement in your spine. So don't let your spine rotate to the right. Don't let your pelvis rotate to the right. Activation, zip up. Inhale, hiss, 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale, 1. Inhale, 2, and blow, 2, 3, and hiss, 2, 3, and 4. And soft shish, re-engage pelvic floor, and loud shish, double engaged. Inhale, 1, 2, blow, 2, 3, and center. Hiss, 2, keep the chest nice and open. Soft shish, keep that right oblique engaged. Loud shish, loosen the ribbon. Double inhale, 1 and 2, and blow, 2, 3, and 4. And hiss, 2, 3, and 4. And soft shish, and loud shish. Double inhale, 1 and 2. One more set here. Blow, 2, 3, and 4. The speed of the arms really helps challenge that deep core. Soft shish and loud shish. Now let's go band in the other hand. If you have the band behind your back, the TheraBand behind your back, because you don't have a tether point, fine. Just do a second set. Just make sure the resistance is light with this one because we're doing high repetitions to really activate the core. Squeeze the knees together. Activation. Big inhale. Hiss, 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale, 1. Inhale, 2. And blow, 2, 3. Arms only come up into a 45-degree angle. That's helping that oblique stay engaged and keep the shoulders healthy. Loud shish. Double inhale, 1, 2, blow, 2, 3, and 4. Keep that head pushing up at a 45-degree angle. Soft shish. Lengthen the spine on the loud shish. Pelvic floor stays connected to the inner thighs. Inhale. Inhale, 2 more sets. Blow, 2, 3, and 4. And hiss, 2, 3, and 4. And soft shish. Loosen the ribbon, loud shish. Double inhale, 1 and 2, and blow, 2, 3, and 4. And hiss, 2, 3, and 4. And soft shish. And loud shish, 2, 3, and a 4. Less is more, when you're pregnant, because you don't want to overstrain yourself, and like risk overtraining because you're growing a baby. Your immune system is a little bit suppressed because you're giving your all to your baby. So here, we're simply going to hold our light TheraBand. Again, less is more with this core work. And here, we're going to slice, 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 slice. Slice, slice, slice. Now, the key is at first, can you lift your left hand and keep your left rib pressing back into my imaginary hand? Meaning, if I don't engage my core and I lift my left hand, my ribs rotate to the right. My pelvis rotates to the right. But if I think navel, pelvic floor, and push my left rib up into an imaginary hand, then, and as long as I'm keeping my ab ribbon loose, I am really working on my deep core muscles, my obliques, my transversus abdominis, my pelvic floor, and my multifidi, a spinal stabilizer. All those muscles are so important when you're pregnant and really so important always. So I use these pre- and postnatal principles with all of my clients, okay? Zip up, inhale. Hiss, 2, 3, 4, 5, inhale, 1. Inhale, 2, squeeze the knees together, blow, 2, 3. Hiss, 2, 3, and down. Soft shish, loosen the ribbon, loud shish. Double inhale, 1 and 2, and blow, 2, 3, and down. And hiss, 2, 3, and down. And soft shish, loosen the ribbon, loud shish. Double inhale. Let's try one more here. Get that ribbon loose. Blow, 2, 3, and down. And hiss, 2, 3, and down. And soft shish. Loosen the ribbon, loud shish. 2, 3, and down. Zip up, activate. Remember, working that transversus abdominis against gravity in this quadruped position, one of the best positions to be in when you're pregnant to really stabilize and feel the transversus abdominis, that tummy vacuum muscle working against gravity. Activation, inhale. Hiss, 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale, 1. Inhale, 2. And blow. Now your right rib is pressing back into my imaginary hand. Hiss. Inhale, 1, 2. Blow. Double inhale. Last one here. 1, 2, blow, and finish. Really, really excellent work. That was the last exercise for today. Now, I do these pre-postnatal classes every single Monday night at 6:10 Eastern Standard Time, and I'm really passionate about integrating the HYPOXiX methodology and using the breathography technique into the pre-postnatal series, because really it was originally designed working with a lot of pre-postnatal clients who had a hard time finding their abdominals. And, we started blowing into balloons, and then my husband's breathalyzer, he was a professional trombone player, so he would use stuff like that to, strengthen his embouchure and, his breathing muscles. And, I was bringing these things into clients, and, and they're like, oh my gosh, I don't think I can work out and blow into this thing. And so this, this methodology was born out of, the pre-postnatal population. And then I started using it with all clients because I found it so helpful in being very adamant about using this inhalation and exhalation strategy alongside these all the functional movements. And then in the HYPOXiX intermediate and advanced level, not for pregnant and not really for postnatal, we add in breath retention. So we're also adding in intermittent hypoxic breathing, which has become really popular with methods like the Wim Hof method and, several popular, breath is just very, very popular right now. Thank you, James Nestor, for that. And it's great because any of us who have been using, breathing methodologies for years, now I think a lot more people are interested in it, thanks to an amazing writer like him. And so it's really, really, really great. Such an effective way to use your breathing to stabilize in your spine. And so you begin, it begins with pre-postnatal population because we need it to prevent injury and to restore our core during and after pregnancy. But it so turns out this is also a method that should and can be used by anyone, and it really helps those results to, keep going over time. And so thank you so much for joining me. I will see you next Monday. We are going to continue on with this series. Next week will be week 3, and we're shooting for 4 to 6 week chunks, working on similar exercises so that we can keep progressing them. Okay, and I'm so excited, and thank you so much for joining me. Bye-bye.